this seems very timely, and I'm sure they've been working on it for quite some time, but this was perfect timing with just the latest sort of little fiasco on Twitter with Musk rate limiting users and all that stuff. So yeah, the timing was perfect, and so it's not too much of a surprise, as expected in a way. Yeah.
They have very intelligently recognized that they can port over, essentially shift over existing Instagram users to this new service, right? This new application. And that's quite intelligent because basically the networks we already have and those we already follow or engage with on a platform like Instagram can be quickly, brought into bear rather than having to create a so-called ecosystem of users from the start.
Now it's just a sort of a town square where anyone can go and scream aloud things, and it becomes much more difficult to control misinformation and to limit, sort of the worst of human behavior, if you will. So the bullying and the threats and the all sorts of content that I think people were hoping not to see on Twitter are making a comeback.
Like, he should be hiring journalists to do the content moderation and paying them a living wage. Instead he cuts content moderators out. He's not doing anything about the algorithm, which really determines what speech counts and what speech doesn't count, because it's not free speech. It's what speech is most visible, which has everything to do with what's most viral, which we know tends toward crazy content that will arouse us or outrage us.
It's clear that, people have been talking about the downfall of Twitter for months. And it's been a very sustainable trend. It's been reliably sort of incremental destruction of every possible aspect of Twitter. So I do expect it to continue. But, the funny part is I don't think we've ever seen truly the destruction of a social network in real time. It's so early that it's hard to say what Zuckerberg's vision for Threads is. Is it just to simply take market share from Twitter in a very opportunistic time? That would be my guess, would be that they've been building this thing, and given recent events, they just decided that this is the right time to roll it out. And it could be that a lot of these features that really need to get rolled out, things like identity verification and trusted accounts and all these kind of things, I suspect these kind of things will come in the days ahead, but timing is ripe for them to grab so many of the people who are leaving Twitter in mass. It's been around long before Twitter. And so whether it's a messaging board, whether it's Usenet, it's been around for decades, this threaded model of public discourse. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is that they're claiming, but I do suspect that if it is similar to many other recent actions by Twitter, it may be more of an emotional response than something that's really well thought out and planned.
All right.
While he's done a lot of damage, it's not irreversible. I think that there are a lot of people who really love the Twitter platform. And if he sort of were to let some of his personal ideals go and go back to the roots of Twitter as a information dissemination platform, reverse some of these monetization schemes, because I think none of them have worked and most of them have backfired, to encourage the legitimate news organizations and the real sort of personalities to assume their authenticated accounts again, and to sort of remove this pay for authenticity scam, then I think, a lot of people would really come back, and he may yet succeed in reviving Twitter.
Musk might pull the plug on Twitter at some point for his own economic reasons, but he knows that it's never been an economic venture per se for him. I think it's more of an ego venture, and because he's a longtime Twitter user who gets a rush out of what he calls the public sphere, I don't know how any public sphere could be a for-profit, surveillance-oriented company that veers toward extremist content, but that's not a public sphere. None of them are, though.
Facebook is obviously an app that's used by older people, so I think the fact that Facebook is coming out with something different might not be as marketable towards people my age. Like if they came out with like a TikTok variation of Twitter, I think maybe people my age would like be more geared towards using it, but I don't know if that is something that people are going to like be, you know, jumping for joy about.
Twitter fills this like niche in the social media world that like no other platform currently like really like fits that well. So I'd assume that people would end up migrating to Threads if like all the older alternatives that people keep on trying to popularize aren't going to work out, like Blue Sky and Mastodon and all the things like that.